Now, all of this news from Nikola is fantastic. Make no mistake about it. Everything that they have displayed and shown to the world is truly incredible up to this point. But there's a few things that we should all pump the brakes on just a little bit here. Nikola Motors just shot up 60% and was even halted on a run from $48 to over $60 a share in 10 minutes time. Did you miss out on Nikola, or is it still worth buying at this price? Find out all that and more coming up. What's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and this is Own the Chaos. The stock market is crazy, it's chaotic, and I made it my mission to help you own it and make some money while also making a positive impact on your lives. Okay, so wow, guys. Nikola Motors, ticker symbol NKLA, shot up over 60% so far today, and as of this recording, is still up an astonishing 50%, sitting at $56.20 per share. First off, let's find out why this happened. So late Sunday night, CEO Trevor Milton announced that Nikola World 2020, or Badger World, will be announced Monday, June 29th. Badger reservations open up the same day. Deposit holders will have dibs on tickets for Nikola World 2020 in Phoenix, Arizona. He is claiming that Badger will dominate ICE trucks or internal combustion engine trucks live, and he's encouraging you to be there to see it. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Badger is going to be Nikola's pickup truck, and as a reminder, Nikola unveiled the Badger electric pickup truck back in February of 2020, and this has everyone curious as to how it will compete with Tesla's much anticipated Cybertruck. According to the details disclosed by the company, the Badger will retail in two power configurations: an FCEV, or a fuel cell electric powered by hydrogen, or the BEV, or just the battery electric version. Now, the Badger looks like a much more conventional design that we have come to know and love as red-blooded Americans, right? You can see that it has the resemblance of the classic F-150 and Chevy Silverado bones, as opposed to the Cybertruck, which is completely out of this world design. Now, I have to admit, I love Tesla, I love everything about them, but I cannot stand the design of the Cybertruck, and I would be willing to bet that there are more people out there that the Badger appeals to on looks alone. Hell, the more that I look into the Badger, the more that I really want one. It is a sexy looking pickup truck, no doubt. Kind of like that like button, am I right? Anyways, the projected specs are nothing to sneeze at either. The electric truck will offer a headline range of 600 miles through either of the two power configurations, and it will offer an acceleration from 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, a torque of up to 980 foot-pounds, and a peak horsepower of 906. That is mind-blowing. And if you compare it to the Cybertruck, it holds up quite well to that as well. It's also important to note that since their last press release, that the Badger will be outfitted with a 15 kilowatt power outlet for tools, lights, and compressors, which is enough power to assist a construction site for approximately 12 hours without a generator. That's really impressive if this actually happens, which we still don't know yet, right? But they also are boasting that with a fully loaded trailer and combined vehicle weight of 18,000 pounds, the Badger will be able to launch from a standstill on a 30% grade without motor stall. Those are some really impressive numbers, and I'm curious to see if they actually do happen. You know, it's starting to sound like to me that this is a little bit too good to be true, but I am cautiously optimistic here, because if that happens, that is completely badass. Now, upon my research, I have yet to have found out how much the deposit will be, but considering there were no deposits needed for any of their semi-truck pre-orders, this is a step in the right direction. At least we will get pre-orders with folks who have skin in the game, which is really important in my opinion. I'll explain that in a minute. But that wasn't the only news to send the stock soaring today. And before I get into that real quick, I would just like to invite you over to the Chaos Crew. If you click on the join button below next to subscribe, which you already should have clicked, what you will get from me is a watch list every day to give you a snapshot of how the market is doing an hour before the market opens. I give a quick analysis of 5 stocks that are worth keeping an eye on for the day. And for $4.99 a month, I think it's an incredible value. And if you do as well, I would love to see you there. Okay, so getting on to the rest of the Nikola news. Shortly after the open, it was announced that CNH Industrial officially updated on its $250 million investment made through its Iveco commercial vehicle segment. Now, this was a result as the previously announced merger that took place last week. This was already set in place, but today it made it official that Nikola was going to be getting another $250 million from Iveco. As a result of the merger, Iveco now holds over 25 million shares of Nikola, corresponding to the approximate 7% of Nikola outstanding share capital. Now, all of this news from Nikola is fantastic. Make no mistake about it. Everything that they have displayed and shown to the world is truly incredible up to this point. But there's a few things that we should all pump the brakes on just a little bit here, because as of this recording, the recent run-up on this stock puts the market cap at an astonishing $20 billion. That's 7 times where the expected valuation is supposed to be in 2024, if you recall from my last stock market showdown video with Tesla. Speaking of Tesla, yes, the market cap is $165 billion, which is still silly high compared to their valuation, and as we all know, Elon thinks it's too high as well, apparently, but it's only about twice as high as their actual valuation, which means in theory you're actually paying a much higher premium for Nikola right now than you would be for Tesla. It sounds weird, but yes, in a way, Tesla is in fact cheaper than Nikola is right now. Here's some things that concern me about Nikola though. While yes, this event is very exciting and I'm quite honestly looking forward to that June 29th date, Nikola still needs to raise a lot of money to accomplish the things that they want to do. Nikola wants to build out a hydrogen station infrastructure to support its FCEV vehicles, and this will cost billions of dollars. To compare this to the Tesla charging stations and what it costs them to build its infrastructure, Tesla's had to raise more than $20 billion in capital since their IPO, much of it coming in the form of offerings. And it's taken Tesla 10 years to get to this point, which in Elon's own right is lightning fast. It really is fast. So the offerings for Nikola are almost assuredly coming, which means that the stock will be diluted and the value of your position could come down quite a bit. Plus, as I mentioned before, the estimated valuation based off of the semi-truck pre-orders is not going to be accurate in my opinion. Nikola claims they have about 14,000 pre-orders of their semi-trucks, and it would total about over $12 billion in revenue from that alone. But there's no real commitment to buy those pre-orders. Literally anybody can go to their website and pre-order a truck with no deposit and no contract that says you must buy one. Now it looks as if that may have changed with the Badger, which is definitely a step in the right direction, and I would feel much better about those pre-order numbers than the semi-trucks. After all, if we look at Tesla's Model 3 pre-orders, for example, they require about a $2,000 deposit down on those pre-orders, which in my opinion communicates the seriousness of the buyer. If I'm putting a couple grand down on a car that I have never driven before from a company that I really don't know all that well, then that's extremely telling. But even in that case, the conversion rates were about 70% from those who pre-ordered and actually bought. So imagine what the conversion rate could look like if there is zero deposit whatsoever. So did you miss out on Nikola in this current event? Absolutely. I admittedly missed out as well. But if I had to do it all over again, just the way that I did it, I would. I just can't see myself ever buying something so speculative as an investment when the company has yet to have turned over 1 cent in revenue. But here's where perspective really comes, and especially if you feel like you've missed your shot. If you evaluated this company right now from a fundamental standpoint, the price of the stock would sit around $10 to $12 a share. It sounds crazy to think about now that we are all the way up here, but I think it does come back down to earth, at least somewhat, once the hype on this is over. And people realize that for all this to become a reality, it's still years away from now. Investors, especially retail investors, which I'm sure we're seeing a lot of right now, they get bored very quickly. And once they see how they are going to need to raise capital, I think this will really start to bring down the price of this stock. From what I can tell, there's only one thing that we can't account for, folks, and we saw this with Tesla, right? And that is the cult following that Elon has with its Tesla investors. Now, the reason Elon created that cult, though, was because of the way he's been able to will things into existence and the trust that the Tesla brand has been able to build. Can Trevor Milton do the same? I think that remains to be seen, but as I've said before, I'm hopeful for the success of Nikola here. They just have to prove a little bit more to me before I would consider investing in them. And of course, the price has got to come down. a lot. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you still skeptical as well, or are you all in on this Tesla competitor? Also, if you happen to miss the stock market showdown where I compared Tesla and Nikola, click here on this video to check that out. Or if you would like to get my take on the airline stocks right now and where they are headed, click this video here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, folks, I will see you all before the bell, and B Smith is out.